Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. A very warm welcome to the Young Actress World Cup Asia Continental Zone quarterfinal. My name is Siju Chua. I'm the Asia ambassador for this competition. I am from Singapore Actual Society. Today, I'm joining you from Singapore. Let's do a quick recap on where we are. Looks somewhat very complex competition. Today, we are running the Asia quarterfinal. We are joined by 4 finalists from Asia, and our aim is to choose 2 top winners from the 4 of them. The plan for this evening, before I'll introduce you the judges shortly. I'll also introduce you our 4 very nervous quarterfinalists. The plan is to go round by round. In each round, we'll see the video from the quarterfinalists for 7 minutes. Then I'll invite each judge will have 1 minute to ask the questions to the participant. And this participant will then have 2 minutes to answer the questions. We'll have 3 judges, so 3 questions for each participant. After 4 rounds of Q&A, we will let the judges bring out to a separate room and have their deliberation. By the end of their deliberation, we hope, fingers crossed, we hope to hear the results from the judges for the top 2 winners. That's our plan for this evening. We do have a Q&A, like a chat. I'm not sure the chat is enabled or not, but Carla will be keeping an eye on the Q&A. So if you do have any questions or comments, please get it posted on the chat. First and foremost, let me welcome our judges for this evening. First and foremost, Alf, thank you for joining us from the German Actual Society. Second, Ranli, thank you for joining us from the Nigeria Actual Society. And also, Rodrigo, thank you very much for joining us from the Ecuadorian Association of Actuaries. Panel of all males. Thankfully, in one of our participants, I'm also joined by Wendy. Females need to outnumber the boys this evening. Comes to the quarterfinalists for Asia. Out of the 12 participants, we got 4 outstanding participants here today. Very diversified locations. They are coming from 3 different societies. In terms of the sequence for this evening, Togashi-san will go first. Togashi-san is from Japan, followed by Wendy from Hong Kong. Then we'll invite Mika to join the Q&A. Mika is from Singapore. Last but not least, Nakayama-san will have his round to face the judges in the 4th place. Nakayama-san is from Japan, by the way. Okay, get your popcorns out. I'm gonna play the video from Togashi-san. Enjoy the video. After the video, Togashi-san will go straight to the Q&A. Okay, so let me prepare the video.
Let me briefly introduce myself. I was a graduate student until March 2022. I was free to explore life, full of research and play. I then joined PwC Arata LLC in April 2022. As a young employee, I work with enthusiasm and hope for the future. Since joining the company, I have been involved in projects such as financial year-end support and audit work, which has kept me busy but fulfilled. Currently, I am diligently preparing materials to apply for this World Cup competition. I am blessed with a boss, coworkers, and an environment that keeps me energetic. However, I've also made mistakes of which some can be discouraging. Sometimes the busyness in front of me makes me want to escape. When that happens though, I encourage myself to do my best to be a good actuary. As a Japanese actuary, I would like to be able to deal with risks unique to Japan, such as the declining birth rate and aging population. I also want to use my experience to help the world. From this point on, I would like to present my research under the title, Analysis of Japan's Public Long-Term Care Insurance System Using Anomaly Detection Techniques. This research is a continuation of my graduate school research. Table of contents is as follows. Part 1. The characteristics of Japan's demographic structure. The first point is related to population decline. In the population rate of change chart, there is a steady decline. The second point is related to the decline in birth rate. While the percentage of the population under 65 continues to decline, the percentage of the population over 65 years old continues to increase. The population pyramid suggests this trend will continue. Japan's aging population rate is high when compared globally. Compared to Europe and the US, it is at the top of the list. It also ranks high among Asian countries, only trailing Korea. Part 2. The Japan's Public Long-Term Care Insurance System. This table explains Japan's public long-term care insurance system. There are 2 points to remember. The insurer is the municipality. There are 7 levels of certification. Part 3. Background of the paper. Average cost of long-term care benefits, top and bottom 20. You can see the upper regions cost over twice the size of the bottom regions. It is important to implement measures that consider the balance between benefits and burdens. This study is a continuation of the above studies. Part 4. Purpose of the paper. Propose a methodology for evaluating the adequacy of municipal long-term care benefits and other costs. Identify municipalities that deviate from standard coverage. Analyze the factors and characteristics that create differences among municipalities. The explanatory variables are 80 social environmental factors. The objective variables are 9 segments and standardized and indexed. These are 1571 municipalities. The methods used are anomaly detection methods. Anomaly detection methods are in the spotlight as a way for data utilization in the manufacturing and financial industries, where vast amounts of data can now be collected. Explanatory and objective variables are analyzed by anomaly detection methods to calculate the degree of abnormality. Identification and discussion of non-standard areas will be conducted. Part 5. Analysis methodology and data use. Explain the objective variable. While Japan's long-term care certification is divided into 7 levels, this study will analyze 3 levels. There are 3 levels: to support 1-2, primary nursing care 1-2, and primary nursing care 3-4-5 inches. The average cost of long-term care benefits is also broken down into 3 levels: recognition rates, utilization ratio, cost per person. The analysis will be divided into 9 segments of 3 by 3. Here are the methods used. Detailed explanations are glanced over in the interest of time, but please have a look if you are interested. Part 6. Analysis result. This is a plot of predicted versus measured values. This is the anomaly distribution. For the purposes of this study, areas located above the red line were defined as substandard areas. This table explains the number of detections in areas outside the standard range. When considered by level of nursing care certification, it is clear that there are many detections in to support 1-2 inches and primary nursing care 3-4-5 inches. Concentration of utilization rates on support needs 1 and 2 and care needs 3, 4, and 5. This chart shows a table for each of the upward and downward diverging regions. Utilization rates for care needs 3, 4, and 5 are sloping upward. Otherwise, the number of upper and lower substandard areas are almost equal. indicating that the actual values deviate symmetrically from the predicted values. The results of the analysis are summarized as follows. The number of municipalities determined not to fall within the standard range was extremely small, 0.5% of all eligible items. This result is different from previous studies. Municipal differences in utilization rates are the main reason for differences in average long-term care benefit costs. Need to pay attention to the out-of-standard range area above nursing care 3, 4, and 5 in the utilization rate. New insights WRE obtained by using anomaly detection methods previously not utilized in the empirical analysis and previous research in the social sciences. In particular, it is estimated that the certification rate is almost uniform. The results differ from those of many previous studies that have analyzed municipal differences in the cost of care. Part 7, Bridge to Tomorrow. I will do my best to become an actuary who can contribute to society in Japan and around the world. I have a desire to overcome my challenges ahead. Tackle both actuarial exam and research. Appreciate if you advise exam or research, etc. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Togashi-san. Today I've seen these videos a few times and I still find it very fascinating to see the amount of effort you have put into the video. Thank you for that. Now, Carla, I have tried to spotlight Togashi-san as we go into the Q&A. Can you check that I have done it correctly, that he is...
I will. No.
Yep, thank you. Okay, let's go to our judges. I would like to invite first a question from Landry. Landry, feel free to unmute yourself, and Togashi-san will start with your Q&A. First question from Landry.
Right.
Togashi-san, feel free to unmute yourself as well if you wish. Go ahead, Landry.
Yeah. Thanks so much, and great job. Really fascinated too. So my question is quite simple, and I noticed that your results, like you rightly pointed out, is pretty different from the results of the previous study. The difference between your results and those of previous studies, is it due to different or additional data sources, or did you use a different methodology, or there's something else that you may want to highlight that actually caused the difference?
So, Togashi-san, we have posted the question here.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for questions. Let me answer your question. Your question is, okay. There's something else that you may want to highlight that was the difference. Let me answer your question is where the value of this study lies. First of all, this study has passed the paper review process and will be published in a future issue. Therefore, it can be said that it has received a certain level of recognition in Japan. We have traditionally known that there is difference in long-term care certification by region. We also knew that it depends on the number of nursing homes and doctors. It is social elements. Additional data source is very difficult because Japan of regions data is secret, so many secrets. So I can have many Japan regions that. So I use data in research. I can have in internet. Okay.
Thank you, Togashi-san. Nicely, slightly overrun, but I think we have captured, you mentioned around the differences due to Japan-specific data. Thank you. I'm going to move on with the second question. And this time, we'd like to hear from Rodrigo, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Togashi. I enjoyed your video. My question is about your professional experience. One of the key principles of an actuary's role is impartiality. How can the actuary's work avoid conflict of interest with the work of an auditor?
I work now in yearly closing. I have very hard working now. I think to in particular is very important points. I work in auditor, but I question the section of the I question many questions to risk section in my workstation. So might have no risk. So okay. Finish my answer.
Yep. Thank you, Togashi-san. I think I'm hearing you mention a few times about questioning. Perhaps that's your ideas of avoiding conflict of interest. Thank you, Togashi-san. We'll go to the next question from Alf. This will be the last question for you, Togashi-san, for this round. Alf, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much, Togashi-san. Good presentation. My question is, how do you see the research that you have done? How can that be expanded beyond Japan? That's my second question there. Right, that's it. Thank you.
Cool.
For example, for example, long-term care insurance and aging issue in Japan now, but will be in the world in the future. I believe that addressing the issue with Japan will provide insights that can be shared internationally. So I can solve world issue because I solve nursing care issue and older population all the population decrease. So, third one issue. Finishing my question, my answer.
Thank you.
Thank you, Takashi-san.
Thank you.
The judges are setting the standard quite high. I can see other participants are looking at the questions, thinking quite hard. I think the perspective here of Togashi-san, this is not just in Japan as well, right? You mentioned you're sharing with us, apart from real issues in Japan, this also could be referred to around the world. So thank you very much, Togashi-san, for your presentation and the Q&As. I'm going to move on next to our second participant for this evening, Wendy Pui from Hong Kong. Wendy's presentation is about Go Green in a P&C insurance. Wendy, I'm now going to play the video that you have prepared for us. After that, we'll go to the Q&A. Okay. Please enjoy the video from Wendy.
Since the pre-industrial period in the 20th century, we observed an escalating volume of fossil fuel burning to support human activities in terms of transportations, household needs, and commercial needs. These activities improve our quality of life, but they also lead to excessive carbon emissions and hence global warming. It's not only about higher temperatures, but also a wide variety of hazards, such as extreme climate, rising sea levels, and pest invasions. No one living on the planet can be an outsider when talking about the issue of global warming. As global warming is closely related to human activities, insurers with property and casualty business can naturally help alleviate global warming. In this video, I will present 3 policy features that can motivate policyholders to act more environmentally friendly. First of all, insurers can innovate the underwriting process. Traditional rate making depends on expected losses based on the characteristic of the insurable object, administrative expenses, profit charges, and contingency provisions. These drivers do not take any environmentally friendly designs into account. Here, I suggest a premium reduction for property and casualty insurance, ensuring environmentally friendly property. I believe that the initiative will be attractive because no one is like saving money. Looking into the insurance market, there are products with similar features. NKSJ Group has vehicle insurance with premium credit for alternative fuel and low-emission vehicles. Hanover is selling homeowner insurance with premium discount for engine-efficient, solar, or earth-sheltered homes. You may wonder, why I still suggest premium discount given that there are products with similar features? Indeed, while this kind of insurance is common in the European or American insurance market, it's very rare in Hong Kong. Motor insurance with electrical cars is even more expensive than traditional cars, given that it's still a niche market in Hong Kong. Insurers can consider implementing carbon offsets arrangement. The offset amount is calculated based on the driving distance data provided by the policyholders. Insurers would then purchase carbon offsets to cover the emissions produced by policyholders' cars. The fund will then be used for improving environmentally friendly facilities to cut carbon emissions, like subsidizing the replacement of obsolete properties with green alternatives. The fund could also be used for planting trees, which contribute to easing global warming by absorbing excessive carbon dioxide. Besides the advantages as mentioned, the carbon offset arrangement is also a way to build companies' reputation. Thirdly, insurers can consider personalized policy pricing. Traditionally, insurers group policyholders into several risk pools. Nowadays, we can tailor policies using personalized data from tracking devices. With technological advancement, we are now able to get detailed data coming from sources such as wearable devices or smart home devices. Therefore, actuaries should involve in machine learning and artificial intelligence, which allow us to make predictions in near real time using large data sets, instead of statistical sampling of past data in the traditional framework. So what's the relationship with mitigating global warming? This kind of personalized pricing indeed serves as an incentive for policyholders to strive for an environmental friendly lifestyle. For example, cycling time in a home can be included as a driver in pricing homeowner insurance, so as to encourage policyholders to reduce electricity usage. Although this initiative seems to be effective, you may argue that all are at the cost of the insurer. However, I believe that the decrease in claim frequency and severity will somehow offset the increase in the cost of implementing these features. Indeed, global warming has led to stronger and more frequent natural disasters. Actuaries can not only consider individual catastrophic events, but also the interaction of human activities and global climate. If we do nothing to control the worsening global warming, the claim amount on property and casualty insurance may skyrocket beyond our expectations. From the analysis of property and casualty insurance, we can see that the insurance industry is undergoing a sort of transformation. In the past, actuaries performed particular actuarial activities based on mathematical theory. Nowadays, actuaries have to consider lots of aspects beyond mathematical formulas, like human behavior and environmental changes. Besides, thanks to the technological advancement, more and more detailed data sets will be available in the future for making accurate and individual predictions. I can't wait to get involved in the innovation of insurance products to create betterment for customers and society. Being a young actuary, let's equip ourselves with knowledge and skills and act as a bridge linking traditional and innovative actuarial framework.
I can see clapping hands there. Thank you very much. Very well done, Wendy. Very beautiful video, I must say, and very, very composed presentation. Superstar. Wendy, we are going to go through the Q&A for you, starting with a question first from Rodrigo. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Wendy, for your inspiring video. As your goal is to go green with property and casualty insurance, and there is a need to apply machine learning and data analytics to decrease claim frequency and severity, how would you achieve this goal by using your actuarial background?
Okay, thanks for your question. So for actuarial science student or actuary, we are well trained with coding techniques and statistical techniques. So and also in the workspace, we also apply machine learning or AI, artificial intelligence, in our claim process. For example, in the company that I'm working in, actually we use some applications to capture the past claims data. And then from the past claim data, we can predict a future trend. As we may know that the future is always will repeat the past. So past data is very valuable. So back to the content in my video, I mentioned that to use machine learning. I think that nowadays we have many data from the wearable gadgets or driving records from the cars. All those tiny data are available for us to price a product or use those data to put a particular characteristic or features to each policy holders. Instead of in the past we group the whole policy holders in a risk group and apply one single premium to them. So I think that with more data and technological advancement, so we can achieve the new pricing framework by machine learning. And in the future, maybe this can be done automatically by artificial intelligence. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Perfect timing there, Wendy. Let's go on to the second question. For this one, I'm going to invite Alf, please.
Hi, Wendy. Thanks from me too for your presentation. My question is, you had given two examples of rate reductions for car insurance and homeowner insurance. And I understood that you're implementing carbon offset arrangements and the personalized policy pricing by using personalized data. What do you feel are the main obstacles and limitations to realize your vision of implementing carbon offset arrangements and obtaining personalized policy arrangements, or reaching personalized policy arrangements?
Okay, so thanks for your question. So I have mentioned two examples about the car and homeowner insurance. So for that two examples, actually that kind of insurance can't find in Hong Kong. So I'm really looking forward that we have that kind of policy in the futures. For the obstacle, first of all, like the homeowners insurance and the car insurance, I suggest that we charge a lower premium for those owning electrical cars or those adopting solar power in their home. But these two aspect is not common in Hong Kong. Electrical cars is not common in Hong Kong due to the facilities limitations. So for an insurance to we have the solid foundation of a insurance is that we need to have a large enough risk pool. But in for the electrical cars insurance, it's hard to apply in Hong Kong due to the small risk group. Yeah. So for the carbon offset, I think that the idea is good because company and the policyholder can a kind of cooperation. But the obstacle will be, as I've also mentioned in the video, the company will think that is of their cost. Yeah. So for this point, I believe that when they try to implementing and collect data about the reduction in frequency and severity, the company will realize that actually the benefit of implementing this carbon offset arrangement is actually beneficial to them. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy. Let us take the last question for Wendy for this evening. That will be the question from Lanri. Please, Lanri.
Yeah, thanks. And thanks, Wendy. Wonderful presentation and great responses so far. My question is more of a curiosity for me. Considering that the cars and houses, like you mentioned in the last response, those that have lower carbon emissions are more expensive than the ones with higher carbon emission. How effective do you think the premium discounts and the credits used in incentivizing policyholders, how effective do you think they are? And has there been any marked changes in claims ratio based on what you know so far?
Okay, thanks for your question. So for the effectiveness, I think the main benefit for policy holders is the economic benefit that they can save premium. I think that is the biggest attractive point. But you may argue that, like, for some rich people, they will think that I don't think this is important for me to save that small amount of money. So, but I think that besides economical benefit for most public, the second attractive point is that you are doing something good for the whole world. So if you keep emitting carbon of greenhouse gases, so all of us will suffer. Yeah, not only like those living in particular country. So I think that as a member of this world, so policyholders will be like motivated by the economical benefit and the benefit that they can actually contribute back to the world by reducing the carbon emissions. And from what I know about the electrical car market, for example, in Hong Kong, actually we have some insurance company offering premium discount for those owning electrical cars, but it's a very, very small amount. Yeah, and the insurance company is not willing to sell this kind of insurance as they are actually losing money. So I think it's still a long way for us to develop. First of all, we have to promote the use of electrical cars in Hong Kong before we offer this kind of premium discount to policyholders. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Wendy. For this round, I see our. Thank you, Wendy. Yeah. For this round, I see our judges has gone to quite practical perspective of the applications touching on discounts, things like limitations, and well done, Wendy, to still be able to link this to your work. Policyholders is very, very important. And also I'm happy to hear that in one of your answers, you relate to the skills that you have learned from university. So thank you very much, Wendy and our judges, for the questions. We are now going to move on to the third participant, Mika from Singapore. We have so far learned from Togashi-san, Japan. We have now heard from Wendy, experience in Hong Kong. Let's look at what Mika brings us for his experience in Singapore. Mika has made for us a video about the roles of actuaries in Industrial Revolution 5.0. Let's hear from him. Let me prepare the video. After the video, Mika will go straight to your Q&A.
Future scares me, but it also gives me hope. Only if I can glimpse into the future, I may be able to save humanity. I am an actuary, an oracle based on science. Climate change is an existential threat to humanity. There are many global collective efforts to address the impact of climate change, such as the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, or SDG. Country authorities are implementing TCFD standards to address the climate change issues. From an actuarial science perspective, how does TCFD work and how can we contribute? This is the TCFD approach. They focus on the financial sustainability of corporates. They introduce a concept called transition risk, which quantifies the financial impact of climate change. In essence, it is about earnings volatility and solvency, which is our focus. This is an illustration of transition risk. A corporate draws revenue from various countries, incurring costs in other countries. The impact of such events on revenue and cost exposes a country to solvency risk. From an actuarial science perspective, all this refers to the loss distribution. Loss distribution helps us to estimate capital adequacy at a certain confidence interval. Many banks adopted 99.96% confidence interval. The remaining expected shortfall is a risk of insolvency that we need to accept, commonly known as a tail probability. The first component of capital adequacy is expected loss, which is included in business budgeting and is reflected in risk-based pricing for products. An example in Basel II and Basel III for credit portfolio is that EL equals to PD times LGD times EAD. In general, it relates to the earnings volatility of a company. Solvency is addressed by budgeting for economic capital, which measures the unconditional unexpected loss. One approach is stress testing, which focuses on conditional expected loss in reference to scenarios selected through scenario analysis. This is well documented by UK banking regulators in the Climate Financial Risk Forum. Insolvency due to climate change is not imagination. It has already happened. This is an example of stress testing on earnings volatility. This is the earnings distribution without stress and under stress. The skewness and kurtosis under stress changes the characteristics of earnings volatility. From actuarial science perspective, all these initiatives boils down to the loss distribution that we need to manage. There are four main areas in prediction analytics, namely prediction methodology, software and tools, data, and functional role. Advancements in technology such as AI in Industrial Revolution 4.0 will replace or obsolete some skill sets, and there will be demand for new skill sets. Actuaries need to embrace these changes to upgrade and reposition ourselves to stay relevant in Industrial Revolution 5.0. There are two main predictive methodologies. In analytical prediction modeling approach, we have preconceived logic for the prediction, and we try to simplify the world to fit into the limitations of the model. Take time series prediction, for example. It evolves from autoregression as a base model to ARMA, ARIMA, SARIMA, and SARIMAX, which are all based on the same idea that past values of a time series can alone be used to predict future values. In deep learning models, it is a different approach. It is a generic learning algorithm that does not require prior knowledge. It learns and builds a model based on its given data. Like how a baby learns using flip cards, the AI makes a guess, and the flip cards verify whether the guess is correct or not. The error of the guess is fed through the utility function through backward propagation to adjust the weights of the AI brain, allowing it to learn from its mistakes and improve its guess. This is a schematic design for a neural network. Each connection here carries a weight. This is a neural network I implemented using Python and TensorFlow some time back. There's more than 100,000 degrees of freedom to build a predictive model for very complex nonlinear systems. The transfer learning capabilities of AI allows it to store knowledge gained from solving one problem and apply it to a different but related problem. It allows intelligence to evolve faster. In terms of software and tools, the common ones are R with RStudio and Python with Anaconda and Jupyter Notebook. With advancements in Industrial Revolution 4.0, coding will become an unnecessary obstacle to making predictions. In the near future, making predictions does not require coding. These are examples of no-code prediction. We give AI instructions in human language, and AI makes predictions. In this example, AI predicts aging through extrapolation on Mona Lisa playing tennis when she is 50 years old. AI can also predict non-existent scenarios, such as the last person taking a selfie at the end of the world. AI can also make predictions using transfer learning in painting a cat and dog in Van Gogh and Picasso's painting styles. In Industrial Revolution 5.0, AI will take over prediction with its superior computing power. We only need to define the prediction problem statement without compromising due to the limitations of the prediction methodology. The basic assumption in predictive models is that history tends to repeat itself in the near future. In building predictive models, we train the model using historical data. We validate the model using out-of-sample data, and we backtest the model regularly. What if we want to predict events that have no historical data? In Industrial Revolution 4.0, generative AI is the solution. Generative Adversarial Network, or GAN, is capable of generating random human faces. These people look real, but they actually do not exist. GAN can be applied in climate change scenario generation and analysis. With technological advancements in Industrial Revolution 4.0, some skill sets will be replaced or obsoleted, and there will be demand for new skill sets. the role of actuaries will change, and we need to stay relevant and coexist with AI in Industrial Revolution 5.0. AI is not a legal entity. We need to take accountability in adopting AI recommendations. To guide AI towards supporting humanity, we need to define and formulate problem statements. Our position is to become controllers, to understand, supervise, and challenge the basis of AI recommendations. With the supreme power of AI, we need to ensure ethical use of AI.
Thank you very much, Mika. Thank you for this very, very high quality video. And I thought your storyline, your ideas are very, very well articulated. Well done. And you give me hope, Mika, no code prediction. You give me hope that I can still apply in the current dynamic world. Let us move on to the Q&A for Mika. I would like to invite first Alf to ask the first question, please.
Yes, well done from me too, Mika. Nice presentation and work you've done. My question is again one of limitation. You're talking about predictions, and I get a bit scared if I have to consider something that an AI has spits out as being a prediction. So what limitations do your proposals for future actuaries have, for example, with regard to the United Nations sustainability goals? One, the preparing by the actuary of TCFDs, and three, in producing AI-generated predictions, as you call them.
Okay, so the main thing is that to address these kind of key challenges and limitations the main thing is how we as actuaries remain relevant in the future. So talking about United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, these provides agendas for us to work towards too. And in my video, I said one of the examples was towards climate change and sustainability. This is because climate change is an existential threat to humanity, and sustainability is one of the world's most pressing agendas, as is one of the goals in the UN's SDG. So authorities around the world have implemented TCFD as the common approach to address these climate change issues. And so a lot of central banks around the world are already committing resources to implement it. For example, in Singapore, Monetary Authority of Singapore has embedded the TCFD as part of its new regulations for environmental risk management. And the main key challenge is how actuaries will reposition themselves to work towards this kind of agendas. For example, let me talk about the landscape of the actuary profession. According to IAA, there are about 60,000 actuary members worldwide. And according to the US government statistics, more than 75% of actuaries are working in the insurance industry. And according to SOA, less than 5% are working in banks and risk management and investment. So for the central bank to allocate resources, it governs the three capital market players, which are asset managers, banks, and insurance companies. Out of these three, asset managers and banks are the two front runners in driving this capital allocation process. So if we as actuaries want to remain relevant and work towards this sustainability agenda, we might consider repositioning ourselves in areas of asset manager and banks to directly drive capital allocation towards these sustainable economic activities. And for more AI-related things, it's also the same stand where how actuaries need to reposition themselves to coexist with AI instead of competing against it. For example, here's some limits or some areas we can coexist with AI in. AI is not a legal entity. So when we use AI, we need to...
Yeah, apologies. It's very, very good questions posed by Alf, and I really hope that wish we have more time to discuss this from a perspective. I afraid, Mika, I have to move on to the next question. Apologies about that. But thanks for at least have given us some thoughts on the repositioning requires from the actuaries. Let me move on to the next question from Randy, please.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, Mika. Very good response and presentation. Mine is very short. Considering the fact that we're going to be using a lot of data knowledge from the AI part in generating these predictions, how do we as actuaries in trying to work with AI, how do we mitigate the risk of excessive bias towards the data that has been used in training the AI? Thanks.
As mentioned in the video, one of the key changes that AI brings is actually generative AI. And so how generative AI works is basically, in an example, I use generative adversarial network, which it consists of two AIs. One is a generator and one is an adversarial. What the generator does is that it tries to create fake scenarios based on the characteristics of existing scenarios in the past. And what the adversarial network does is that it tries to identify the fake scenarios generated. So it goes through many layers of training until the generator can create a fake scenario that the adversarial network can't detect. And so again, addressing how this changes data is that we're moving into the future where, as you can see with COVID-19 and climate change, a lot of new events are happening and there's not really much historical data on it. So in order to have data to do prediction on, we can use generative adversarial networks or generative AI to create new scenarios to create data for scenario analysis and stress testing.
Okay, thank you very much, Mika. We'll move on to the question, last but not least, from Rodrigo, please.
Thank you, Mika, for such a professional video. My question, should knowledge and understanding of these SDGs of the United Nations be incorporated into the actuarial syllabus, as well as principles of artificial intelligence? Please explain why.
Okay, well, in this case, let's say our agenda is making predictions related to sustainability. There are two key parts of making predictions. First one is the basic knowledge of the business knowledge and knowledge of the laws and regulations. And second one is the actual coding for the AI. So for the business knowledge, I believe a lot of professionals like CEOs, CFOs, and business heads have information and the business knowledge that they can apply to the sustainability. So in this case, why I brought up no coding in the video was that no coding, the programming and coding in general is basically a translation layer between this business knowledge and actual prediction outcome that we want. So it takes time, it takes money and resources to train business professionals to gain the ability to use AI and do coding in general. And in Industrial Revolution 4.0, when AI exists, and Industrial Revolution 5.0, where we coexist with AI, it will become an unnecessary limitation, unnecessary obstacle in order to do this kind of predictions. So yes, I believe that current business professionals should have the knowledge of SDG and basic law and regulations and like TCFD, all this kind of knowledge. But in the future, we will not really need to incorporate it with AI. AI is good because unlike traditional predictions, we don't need to fit the entire complicated world scenario into a bunch of parameters. So with AI, we can just translate it directly into AI without having to simplify the complexity of the real world problem. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mika. Thank you. I really like the questions. You know, these questions, Rodrigo, you rightly pointed out. You know, our Wendy earlier mentioned about skills that she learned from the universities, and now this is the future looking. Really good question, and thank you, Mika, for sharing your views on these three questions. I hope you still have popcorns left. We are going to watch the last video for this evening, a video prepared by Nagayama-san from Japan, and he's going to talk about the DC plan. Okay. Nakayama-san, same as the other three participants, will go to the Q&A right after your video.
This video will give you the formula for efficiently boosting your DC wealth. The transition from DB to DC plan is a recent trend. As actuaries, to secure everyone's retirement payment in an aging society, I present here specific solution. A unique feature of the actuarial DC pension model is that cash flows from contributions are generated during the period of funded investment. Normal portfolio theory does not take this into account. Based on this feature, this video provides flexible portfolio optimization. To that end, this video consists of the following 3 parts. After setting up the DC pension model, the optimization policy is presented. An actual simulation is performed. First, let's set up a DC pension model. The following 2 models are defined by the market. Risk-free asset P is a model for safe assets such as bonds and principal secured, and risky asset S is a model for risky assets with asset volatility, such as equities. B here is the Brownian motion. The model X for the amount of DC savings shall be determined by the following dynamics. That is, the fluctuation in assets is the sum of those, the contribution C per unit time dt, the return generated by the risky asset holding U at time t, and the return generated by the risk-free asset that is remaining portion not deposited in the risky asset. The amount of risky assets held U is called the controller. This is usually determined by the DC plan participant. In this video, we assume that this is determined based on time t and the reserve amount x at that time, and we want to find the optimal one. The valuation function J is set for maximizing the average of the reserves at maturity and minimizing the variance of the reserves, through the risk preference gamma determined by the DC plan participant. The larger gamma is, the less weight is given to variance. Conventional mathematical models have used the well-known utility function as this J. The most distinctive feature of this model is the direct use of variance as this J. Our objective is to seek the optimal controller U of the investment strategy such that this J is maximized. Maximizing J would imply efficient investment, since it increases the average DC asset amount and reduces variance. The optimal solution is obtained by extending the following partial differential equation called the Hamilton-Jacobi-Bellman equations. In this video, this equation's way is my result. My formula may be an innovative invention. For obtaining a sufficient retirement payment, we can find the optimal controller U that maximizes J, in finding the solution V. In solving this partial differential equation, we assume the form of the solution. This is a common approach in solving differential equations. Arising from the partial differential equation, each coefficient of the optimal U consists of ordinary differential equations. This optimal solution U is a function that depends on time t and the reserve amount x at that time, and is a tailor-made solution that tells the DC plan participant how much risky assets to hold, according to his reserve situation. Also, if U is given a bound, the optimal U is thus. This U is the real optimal solution in this video. For this, we will now run the simulation. Let's run a 30-year period simulation, using the solution we have obtained. We assume a 0.05% yield on the risk-free asset, a 3% yield on the risky asset, a 7% volatility on the risky asset, and a monthly contribution of $100. 3 patterns of risk appetite gamma are prepared. First, we simulated the case in which the reserve fund performed as expected. The left side simulates the share of risky assets in DC pension reserves, and the right side shows the expected value of optimized DC pension reserves over time. When gamma equals 1, when gamma equals 2, when gamma equals 3. The results show that, for all gamma, gradually reducing the percentage of risky assets is optimal. It is often said that risky asset holdings should be lowered gradually toward retirement. This recommendation was theoretically confirmed. Next, we sampled the final amount of reserves. The left side is the result of the optimization, and the right side is the case of continuing to hold only risky assets. When gamma equals 1, when gamma equals 2, when gamma equals 3. Comparing the left and right, it is clear that the final amount of reserves is stable in all gamma. In other words, the shape of the distribution has clearly changed through optimization, and for each fixed gamma, successfully maximizing the mean, while minimizing the variance.
I contrasted an optimal solution for the amount of risk assets held. That is tailor-made strategy. This formula supports the traditional argument that the amount of risky assets held should be reduced gradually. In the model set up for this video, we use the simplest market model, but we want to build a model that better fits the market. Then, using theory, we like to develop an app for DC plan participants. It would recommend them percentages of assets to hold, run asset simulations, and it will make them rich even if they are ignorant of DC plans. For employees who usually work at office, a DC plan is a heavy burden because investment risk is left to the employee. I'd be very happy if this formula can alleviate the burden on such employees and lead to a stable retirement payment for those who have contributed to society. Then, this formula will build a better tomorrow. Thank you for watching.
Thank you very much, Nakayama-san. Again, another very professional video. And I cannot wait really to see a product utilizing your formula out there, tackling our DC plan issues. Amazing idea. So we are going to move on with the final round of Q&A for this evening. I would like to first invite Rodrigo. This will be your last question for this evening. We have Nagayama-san been waiting, very nervous there. Let me hand over to you.
Thank you, Nagayama-san. I enjoyed the way all math formula and simulation were presented. Well done. My question, the defined contribution plans that began in Chile in 1981 are now being reformed as they didn't reach their purpose by not considering increasing life expectancy and volatility of interest rates. Does the application that you propose foresee being able to include those issues in order to obtain a high replacement rate?
I need time to understand.
Take your time.
Okay, no problem. Take your time.
Those applications that propose being I'm sorry, I don't understand this question.
My question is in regard of the difficulty that the defined contribution plans related with the replacement ratio. How do you foresee in your application that this problem could be resolved?
Okay, I see. Let's see. I presented the theorem through this event, but anyway, it is meaningless unless it is available to DC plan participants. My company has a smartphone app for DC pension plan participants. Right now, it can be used to provide information and rebalance the DC pension plans asset portfolio. I'd like to improve this app to make it more useful for DC plan participants by making it able to simulate future projections and display the optimal portfolio, which is the main result of this event. Which is the main result of my theorem, so that the retirement of the employee will be better. Also, I hope to submit it as a mathematical paper so that many people can use this. Did I answer your question?
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you both. We'll move on with the question from Ranri, please.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for the presentation. So my question is this. You've used some assumptions there. So I just want to know, how sensitive is this model that you've used to the economic assumptions, like the risk-free returns and co? How sensitive is the model to the economic assumptions?
Okay, I see. For example, okay, this is considerable question too. For example, if mu is high, then risky assets hold time is long, and the volatility sigma, if the volatility sigma is high, then the holding risky assets time is short. Generally, feelings can be applied this, but in my movie, ordinary different equation systems I can't understand by the ODE. I can't understand the result if I calculate that by the ODE. This is difficult.
Not to worry at all. Not to worry. Thank you.
Thank you. My ODE is difficult, so I can't answer right now.
Very, very good try, Nakayama-san. I can see you have this formula, in your mind, and you try to articulate that. And I say thank you for trying, with these kind of formulas and ideas behind your mind. Thank you. We are going to take the last questions for this evening. This is a question from Alf. Alf, please.
Yes, thanks from me too, Nagayama-san. A great presentation. I like the whole world of formulas that you've got there. It's my second question that I wanted to ask. You've deleted the wrong one now. Yeah. There's been, there are a lot of people that have, a lot of actuaries that have thought about this problem for hundreds of years. What do you think are the weaknesses that the other models, that the other research and proposals have in comparison with yours? So what are the weaknesses of the other models in comparison with yours?
Okay, is this in DC pension plans research? Okay, traditional optimization of DC plans was effectively done for years, but depending on but depending on the attributes of the individual, the optimal yield was different. For example, soon to be retire or new hire. This is because there was no concept of time. Your question's weakness is there was no concept of time. So I developed an investment method based on partial attributions. In this case, in my theorem, time t and the amount of assets at that time x.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Yep. Is that all? Nagayama-san, anything you want to supplement? That's okay. So I guess I think what we are hearing, you mentioned weakness in terms of no concept of times, and you try to tackle this in your proposal. So thank you very much, Nagayama-san, for taking all 3 questions from our judges. So it takes us now to the end of the Q&A. We have watched the videos from all 4 participants, and they all had a go at 3 questions from the 3 judges. Right now, judges, I believe you have been given a link by Carla. You may now leave this webinar, join the other link. Fred will be there to help you out with the deliberation. When you come back, please nominate a head judge to give us the results. We just need 2 names, the top 2 winners for this evening. The top winner, number 1, will go straight into the semi-final, and the person who came as 2nd place will go into a wildcard group to compete for one of the place in the semi-final. Okay, so see you later, judges. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Let's see. Rodrigo, are you okay? Can you find the link for the other meeting?
I don't have the link. Where is it?
I see. You may have to check your emails, Rodrigo. I believe it was sent right before, was just before this meeting. Carla, can you help Rodrigo out, please?
I can resend it to you, Rodrigo. By email.
Okay, by email. Okay, thank you. I leave this session now.
Yes, you will have to leave this session to join the next one.
Okay, thanks for joining us back, Wendy. So I think while waiting for the judges, I want to congratulate all 4 of you again for being so composed despite difficult questions from our judges. I would not want to be in your shoes. I'm hearing the questions from touching on limitations, touching on the usage in outside of your current country. So it really requires you to think hard, and well done for surviving through those Q&A rounds. While waiting for the judges, I'm very, very curious because from the quality of your videos, those are very, very professional, very, very high quality. And I'm wondering, what kind of problems did you face when you prepare those videos? Did you find it fun to make the videos? Was it a lot of what do you call the NG, and you have to retake and do a retake? Mika, can we hear from you first? What was your experience in preparing those videos?
Yeah, so actually making videos is also kind of my side hobby. I like to do animation and video making also. So I think doing this for competition is also really fun. And one problem I face, of course, minus having to retake things when I stutter or say things wrongly. It's mostly for the research of this video, like a lot of examples, a lot of like facts I want to put inside. Because you know how technology moves so fast, right? I don't want to have to like put something inside the video only for it to be outdated by the time I post it or by the time this webinar comes up. So I think that was one of the key things.
I see. I like to attend if you are thinking of running a course of making videos for the actuaries in Singapore. I would be the first person to sign up for that training.
That would be cool.
What about Togashi-san? What was your experience in preparing the video? You had these gimmicks at the beginning from the global map zooming into, I believe, where your location is. What was your experience? Did you have fun making the video, Togashi-san?
Oh, yes. I very fun in video, making video. I various time ask I various time try to ask video.
I see. Okay. Did you get your family to help you out? Okay, not to worry. Let's move on to Nakayama-san. How was your experience in making those videos? I saw you have outdoor yeah. No, I saw you have an outdoor shooting at the end by next to the bridge. Yeah.
I take the movie by my wife. I went to the river in my living my living, and the movie is made it by Python, but it took me about a month to get used to it because it was my first exposure to a video creation library.
Right. Good choice of the video, and please say well done to your wife as well. Team effort, yeah. Well done. Wendy, what was your experience? Did you shoot it in Hong Kong?
Yeah, I did the shooting at my home. So for me, I think that like the video shooting is not hard. Everyone, we have our phone, so it's easy. For me, the hardest part like is the editing technique. So like for us as an actuary, we used to like present our ideas by Excel, by typing a paragraph, but not in video format. So it's a really like an inspiring experience for me to try to present my ideas in a video format.
Yeah. Well done there. Oh, your video very beautiful, very pretty with the greens. Some of the photos. Yeah.
Thank you.
Perfect. Togashi-san, you mentioned about become a good actuary in your video. Yeah. So what makes you have chosen this actuarial profession for your career?
My professional career. Didn't think my career, but I work in professional actually, and I continue to research my study.
Yeah. And enjoying it? Are you?
I work hard, but I enjoy work.
Yeah, you mentioned about early closing, and I can imagine it's a very busy period for you. So thank you for taking your time and joining us this evening. Mika, what about for you? Choosing actuaries as your career.
At first, I think a few years ago, I was one of my hobby was doing AI, and I joined this online community called Kaggle, where we basically do like share knowledge and share data, projects which are AI related. And one of the ones I did was actually for COVID-19, the pandemic, the prediction. And so I think through like interacting with people in the community, I kind of heard of the actuarial science And I looked into it and it seemed quite interesting because from my understanding, it's about making predictions, but not with like a crystal ball, but with actual mathematics and a lot of like regulation things. So I thought it was interesting and just wanted to know more about it.
Yep. Oh, looks like we have Ranri back to the main room. Ranri, can I take it that the judges has completed the deliberations and are all coming back to the main room? Okay, I see you smiling there. I take it as a yes. Well done. So when you were away, the judges, we had a chat with the participants and I asked them what was the most difficult thing in preparing their videos. They are all very high quality and very, very professional. Some of them, Nagayama-san actually had a wife to help him out with the shooting at one of the river nearby. And I said to Mika, if he's going to run a video shooting training, I will be the first person to sign up for that. Do we have Alf back yet? And Wendy yes, also. Okay. Oh, we also have Alf because I maybe missed that out in the. Alf, can I check that you are back in the main room with us? It might be my view.
I do not see him yet.
No.
To you.
Okay. So do we have a head judge nominated to give us the results? Ranri, Rodrigo?
Yes. Yes, of course. Thank you.
Okay,
thank you. First of all, congrats to all the 4 participants in this session. It has been very interesting, very professional, and congratulations for you. You did a great job. Well, the second place is for Wendy. Congrats, Wendy. And the first place goes for Mika. Congratulations, wow. Mika. Good job.
Thank you very much, Rodrigo, for the results representing on behalf of the judges. I want to say very well done to Nagayama-san and also Togashi-san. The questions, as I said, was very difficult for this evening. The judges grill us not just on our geographical knowledge, but also limitations, and they have gone beyond your countries. And the fact that you have been able to give them answers, I salute on that. So well done, Togashi-san and Nagayama-san. To Wendy and Mika, congratulations. Mika, you will go straight through into our semi-final. And for Wendy, you will go into a wildcard competition, which the result will be announced. Let me just get my screen running. Please bear with me to share my screen. Yeah. So as I said, Mika will be joining. We already have a first semi-finalist from Africa, Dorota Kovacic from South Africa. So Mika will join Dorota. And for Wendy, the World Cup winners will be announced on 31st of January. The semi-finals will be played between 16th to 22nd of February. By the way, the semi-finalists, so Mika, you will have an opportunity to resubmit a new video if you wish, taking into account the feedback that has been given to you from our judges today. Okay. We have a series of quarterfinals coming up next 2 weeks. So please use this QR code to register for the next one coming up on Monday. This takes us to the end of the quarterfinal for Asia continents. Again, well done to all 4 finalists. You did very well to come through this far from 12 competitors in Asia. And I wish Mika all the best. Hope to see you in Sydney. And Wendy, good luck to you as well. To the rest of the participants here, thank you very much for your participation. Thank you very much, Carla, for navigating us. Alf, Lanry, Rodrigo, thank you for your time. Thank you all.
Have a good day, everyone. Bye-bye.
Good night.